Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is sisiirosee and I'm so happy to have you guys here today. This is my second video in the last week and honestly I'm pretty proud of myself, and that's on the spirit of continuity, baby. Like, we gotta hit it hard. With that being said, I do feel like social media is a little difficult when it comes to long form content, and maybe that is a limited belief. I'm just used to throwing something up super quick and getting a decent amount of reactions and interactions and engagement. Also been doing Instagram for a minute, so I'm used to that. Snapchat, love me a good Snapchat moment. Snapchat's very easy and very candid. I do feel like with YouTube you have to be extremely intentional. So in the spirit of that, I am going to be extremely intentional and really devote this channel, I'm thinking, to health and wellness. I would like to get more into talking about cognition because I feel like learning about your brain is so critical to a successful lifestyle. It just is. And then I would like to talk about other weird topics that I enjoy that maybe people can't quite wrap their minds around or get behind, but also think it's a little interesting, like existentialism. I love me a good philosophy session. So anywho, I digress. Those are the types of videos that I'm going to be putting out there. That's just a little preface. I would also like to get into Q&As, a little bit about me, even though I feel like it's a bit self-indulging to make an entire YouTube video about myself. But I would like to tell you guys a little bit more about my background, experiences that I've had, you know, where I kind of come from, how my thoughts were morphed and like formed, and also things that I went through, like my plastic surgery journeys and different relationship advice. So yeah, that's the type of YouTube girly I'm about to be for you all. Today we're going to be talking about something that I feel like is extremely integral to self-development, and that is understanding you and also realizing that you are exactly who you think you are. There's a book that I read, it's called As a Man Thinketh. I don't remember the author. I'm so bad with authors sometimes. It's a very old book. It's probably 100 years old. And the basic premise is, however you think you are is how you actually are. It's almost a paradox in a sense of, you can be this way or you can be that way, and it's a positive and a negative, and you have the choice. So if you think that you're ugly, I mean, if you think that you're ugly and you tell yourself every single day that you're ugly and you walk around like you're ugly, it's a great chance that, with the fact that there's an energy transfer out there and the frequencies are constantly vibrating around you in the manner that you have dictated them to, people might perceive you also as ugly. Just is the case. If you are low confidence and you look at yourself in the mirror every day and you hate what you see and you don't like the way that you speak and you don't like the way that you dress and you're unhappy with your job, so you treat people a specific way, you have a hard time communicating, you probably will also be perceived as such. And that's kind of the whole premise of the idea. You are what you think you are. On the flip side of that, if you're doing the inner work as you should be and you're practicing being more articulate and being more confident and looking at yourself in the mirror and liking how you look or changing little things if you want to and aiming higher and being ambitious, and you think to yourself, I'm this ambitious person, I have so much going for me, I'm confident, I'm successful, I have a lot of money, I have a lot of friends, XYZ, that is who you are. You are the creator of your own reality. And that is, like, honestly, in my opinion, like elementary level shit. And that's not to be rude. That's not to be like, if you don't think this, then that's the basics. What the hell are you doing? It's more so just thinking, like, once you wrap your mind around the idea that you create your own reality and only you, that's a big thing. You have to have accountability. When you blame others, the accountability and the control is taken away. When you have accountability, you have control of your life. So always have accountability to know that the reason that you are where you are is only because of you. You can have the traumas, you can have maybe like a really bad breakup, a bad relationship, maybe your mom treated you like garbage. Everyone goes through something, Everyone does. And that's not to minimize. I went through things myself. The thing is, you can't blame those instances on the reason that you are who you are today. You need to take accountability and build yourself up to the person that you deserve to be, and you have the power to do that. So that is basically the main concept as to saying you are who you think you are. In my personal opinion, thoughts and your self-perception are extremely critical to how you maneuver in the world. And I really don't say this lightly. I touched upon in my last video about online bullying and just bullying in general, or people that are just rude to you for no reason, and how that in its essence is them just projecting their misery on you. That is how you are perceived when you act a particular way towards people. Also, just so you are aware, your thoughts about yourself bleed out through the interactions that you have with others. Your thoughts about yourselves vibrate at a specific energy when you're just walking around in this world. You need to have your thoughts and your self-belief and your own perception of who you are in check before you go out into this world, and maybe you're a little toxic, and maybe you cause some chaos, or maybe you're extremely depressed, you're angry, or you just don't think that you're good enough. You need to hone in on who you want to be and focus on that so you can vibrate like that. You need to know how impressionable your mind is and how easily influenced your mind is so you can use it to your advantage. Obviously there's a lot of instances, especially nowadays, social media is booming and everyone is comparing and contrasting themselves to literally everyone online. Just so you're aware, and I'm sure you already know this, but sometimes you may see yourself operating as if you don't. Most people online, it's just a big highlight reel and it's not actually adjacent to their real life. For me personally, I had in the past struggled every once in a while with comparing and contrasting myself with everyone that was in the same industry that I was in and XYZ. And I started to realize very fast that it is not benefiting me at all. The key is to shorten your refractory period. So when you catch yourself thinking negatively, when you catch yourself comparing and contrasting yourself to the next person, you shorten that period every single time to where it's almost quite literally immediate, and it takes a little bit of practice. But once you get there, you'll be like, wow, I can completely rewire my brain to not only not ruminate on negativity, but also not see things as a disadvantage to my mental state. And that is when so much control is unlocked. There's a thing in cognitive science, unsure if you guys have heard of it before, but it's called neuroplasticity. Scientifically, neuroplasticity is basically when there is a reprogram, I guess I would say, because your mind is quite literally a computer, so there's an intake and an output of your brain to where certain different neurons are regenerated or restructuralized based on your way of thinking. So it's quite literally how you have designed your brain to be, point blank. And it's actually pretty magical. When you think about it, we live in a very magical world. You quite literally can be whoever you want to be. You can think however you want to think. You can take complete charge of your inner matrix. It really is up to you. And that is in its most simplistic form. My next point is like attracts like. So if you've ever noticed, and of course I have 100% noticed this throughout my life, as I have came from a small town, and that town that I derived from bred so much negativity at all times that I felt like when I was there, I was doing nothing but talking negatively about people because that's what we did for fun. So negativity breeds negativity and positivity breeds positivity. If you want to really, truly, deeply know yourself and re-identify yourself with who you really want to be and get to your fullest potential, which is where you deserve to be, you need to radiate positive energy so more positive experiences happen to you. If you're sitting around with your friends and you're shooting the shit and gossiping with each other about somebody or calling somebody names or cheating in certain ways of your life, synergy is very real, first of all. So you kind of set yourself up When you play other people, you are playing nobody but yourself, first of all. Second of all, when you operate from positivity, the universe will only give you what it thinks that you already have. When you vibrate off of a more positive energy, when you look at yourself every day in the mirror and you say, wow, I love myself so much, like I look so beautiful, I have X amount of money, like get specific. I have a great day every day. I tell myself every day I wake up, it's a beautiful day. Even when it's thunderstorming and downpouring here in Florida, it's a gorgeous day. I'm extremely successful. I'm very creative. I'm extremely ambitious. When you keep operating from that positivity, the universe just keeps giving you that. If you ever noticed that there's people in this world that just cannot catch a fucking break, a lot of people that I have been around in my life are, unfortunately to say, maybe broke all the time, can't hold a steady job all the time, always fighting with their boyfriend or girlfriend, constantly. And they identify themselves with that. They're just like, I'm broke. I can't hold a job. Me and my boyfriend, we're so toxic for each other, we fight all the time. When you identify yourself with these negative connotations and these negative actions that you bring upon in your life, you just reaffirm to the universe that this is who I am and this is all that I've ever known and this is all that I have, so just keep giving it to me. And those people that can't catch a break, they're the actual origin of the problem. They're the reason they can't catch a break. You need to take ownership, start operating more positively, start speaking good into your life, control your limited belief system. That's another great point. People don't even realize that some of the things that they speak about are hindering them. And they say it with such nonchalant, unintentional, subconscious energy. People will be like, oh, it's really difficult to grow my Instagram. Why? Why is it hard? What makes it so difficult? Because other people have said that it was difficult? You're limiting yourself immediately when you say that. People will be like, yeah, my hair never grows. I hear that all the time for some reason. My hair never grows. Stop reaffirming that in your life. The thing is, and it sounds delusional until it works, but it will work if you're consistent enough and you actually have a mental that's strong enough to believe the delusionality. It's only delusional if you cannot materialize it. And that is just not the case in this world. You can quite literally materialize anything. Belief is such, it is so important. I don't even have like an adequate adjective for how important belief is in your life. So whoever you think you are, you quite literally are. You have that immense amount of power to create yourself. One thing that helped me the most was having this unwavering, unshakable self-belief that seemed silly to most people up until I started to prove people wrong. And the thing is that you shouldn't live your life to prove anyone else wrong. You need to live your life to prove to yourself that you are exactly who you say that you are. I remember when I was a little bit younger, in my early 20s, at the time I was bartending pretty much full time. I was going to school part-time. I was a part-time tattoo apprentice. And I also just wanted to start a business. I have like an entrepreneurial spirit. So I was thinking to myself, how can I make a decent amount of money with something that I'm really good at, that I actually am passionate about, and I love a good eyebrow. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna learn how to microblade and I'm gonna open up a little business. And it was just that, it was a little business. I educated myself. I flew myself all over the place with the money that I made from bartending to go to all these different events and trainings to learn how to properly microblade at the best of my ability. And I cornered the market in my little small town, and it was nice. The point of saying that, though, is that throughout that experience, I was with someone at the time who was really not supportive, was really not beneficial just to my spirit in general, just really not a healed person. And I remember him saying, if you open this business, you're gonna have to get used to days where people don't book appointments. And it kind of let me down a little bit. Of course, sometimes when you hear things from people you love, it actually does make a bit of an impression on your mental, but I remember looking at myself in the mirror. I went into the bathroom and I was like, maybe them, but not you. And I swear to God, with that unwavering, unshakable self-belief, every single day that I had an appointment open, I was overbooked, if anything. I had 2, 3, 4 appointments every single day that I ever had my calendar open. I would be booked out for over a month every time. So I'm just telling you that to exemplify that it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It doesn't matter what anyone else is saying. People can have their own perception of you, and that's fine. There are some things that people can't unsee, unfortunately enough. Just like the fact that I'm a multifaceted person. Of course, I'm ditzy on Instagram. I did a little bit in the adult industry at one point in my life. I do OS. I'm also an intellectual, and I also have an extremely impeccable mental state, and that is not to flex at all. I'm just proud to have my mind. I think it's the most expensive thing on me at all times, literally. And I have a great peace of mind in the same regard. And I feel like it is fulfilling and also, in a way, my duty to share it with you guys. People can't unsee the fact that I did fucking porn. And that's like simple as that. They negate my opinions because of what I did way back when or what I do now, OF. If you allow other people's perceptions to permeate your mental state enough to look at yourself in the mirror a different way outside of how you want to see yourself, then you have lost the battle, my friend. I've never heard of the let them theory, but it's basically just let people think whatever they want to think at whatever time and don't ever feel the need to correct. When you really, truly think about it, life is not that serious. We are quite literally human beings, whatever that means, and we're on a rock and we're floating through the Milky Way galaxy. You think you can't be who you want to be. You think that you aren't whatever you think that you really are. Thought is so powerful, like your thinking is so powerful. Consciousness is such a phenomenon to begin with. Like, this world is magical. Start identifying yourself with the best version of yourself. When people call you delusional, they can say whatever you want. As long as you have a peace of mind, as long as you know who you are, as long as you've studied yourself, you've done the introspection, you tell yourself every day is a beautiful day, you tell yourself you're beautiful, you give yourself all the characteristics that you want to have up until you finally believe that 100% with no wavering, and you know what you know, and you never detach, and you lower your refractory period of negative thoughts, and you take control of your mind, you can be anything. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that it helped a few of you. If you could give me some inspiration as to what I should be talking about in my upcoming YouTube videos, let me know in the comments, because I would love a little bit of advice in that sector of what the people want. I appreciate you all, and I will see you in the next video.